So right now our website is looking pretty bland. I'm going to show you how to make it look good really quick. But another thing is our homepage is still the default Rails kind of placeholder homepage. We can change that to be this page right here. A blog is usually a list of all the blog posts, right? So this is the page that lists all of our posts. It's /posts. Let's go ahead and make this the home page. So we can go over here to Rails. We'll go into this config folder, and then you'll see a routes file. Double click that. And then right up here at the very top, we'll just say root. And then in quotes right here, I can just use single quotes. We'll just say posts and then hashtag index. Just like that. And then make sure you save your file. So Command S to save should do the trick, or you can do file and then save right here. It should be Control S on Windows. Okay, so if we save that, now what we can do is also work to make this site look a little bit better. So first let's go ahead and start up our Rails server. We'll just do Rails and then S, or we can just spell out server, either one. And then you want to do -B IP and then -P for port, just like that. And then what we're going to do is utilize a library or a framework actually for front-end web development called Twitter Bootstrap, okay? So we're going to learn more about this, but basically Twitter open sourced a lot of their front-end code, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel to make a site look really good. So if you look up Get Bootstrap in Google, you'll see there's a website called getbootstrap.com, and you can read all about it. You're going to learn how to use this in and out throughout this course, so don't worry about it too much if you're new to it right now. I'm just going to show you how to utilize it. Basically, the way you use this library or this framework is that you look at their website and you look at what kind of components you want to utilize. So good looking buttons, good looking forms, things like that. And then they give you examples and you can kind of implement them from their code samples. So I'm going to show you how to do a few of those right now. So first we need to import Bootstrap into our website. If you go to Bootstrap CDN, just search that in Google, you'll see there's a website called bootstrapcdn.com or something similar to that. And what you want to find here is where it says complete CSS. You want to expand that link and grab the HTML example. Okay, so go ahead and grab that entire link right there, and then Command C to copy on a Mac, Control C on Windows. We'll go back over to our code, and this time, instead of the config folder, we want to go into the app folder. This is actually where you spend most of your time as a Ruby on Rails web application programmer. Okay, so we're going to open up this views folder right here, and then layouts, and then just double click this application layout file. Think of this as the template of your website. Now just right over here, under where it says title, break out a new line and paste in that code. Okay, it should be a long string, and it should say something like this, Bootstrap CDN, somewhere in that URL. Now, you're going to see a version number in that URL. I want you to change yours to mine just so that what happens on my screen is exactly what will happen on your screen. So change yours to 3.3.7 if it's not that already. Okay, and then go ahead and save your file. So Command S to save. Control S on Windows should do the trick. And now what we can do is down here, we can add this. This comes from the Bootstrap website. They tell you if you do this, so add a division tag, set it equal to container, and then grab the closing tag for it. This is just pure HTML, and put it on the other side, and then just tab this inward for a clean best practice look. And then if we save this, and we go back over here and refresh, you'll see that the font has changed, and that's how you know Bootstrap is working. Okay, so Bootstrap utilizes different fonts than the browser defaults. And you'll also notice there's now a margin on your left, and there's also one here on the right. You can't really tell, but this happens because Bootstrap makes your website responsive. When you use Bootstrap, it makes it mobile friendly. If you were to view this in a mobile browser, like a smartphone, you'd see that it still fit on the screen nice and clean. It'll shrink down properly. Okay, so that's why those margins are there. Now let's also give our website a title, so we can do that right here. And just above or below that opening body tag, let's create some HTML. Okay, so this is just pure HTML. We'll say div, we'll give it a class name, and we'll say container. And then we'll break this out like this. So it usually auto-generates that closing div tag for us. You'll understand what all this stuff means if you're new to HTML. Just hang in there for now. And then in here, we'll put some header text, so an H1 heading, and we'll just say my Rails blog. Okay, so if we save that, make sure your web server down here is running in this tab. And then if we go over here and refresh, we can see we've got this title. Now let's make this title stand out a little bit more. This is the main title of our blog, so let's make it look really good. We can go over here and nest all of this stuff inside of some header tags like this. We'll grab that closing header tag and place it right here. And then as a best practice, you want to format your HTML so that everything nested gets tabbed inward by one indentation. So use your tab key to do that. And then let's give this a class as well. We'll say in here class and set that equal to Jumbotron. Okay, this comes from the Bootstrap framework. And we'll also give it another label. We'll call it site header. Okay, if we save all of that, and pause your screen if I'm moving too fast. If you save all of that and go back over here and refresh, there you go. Now you've got this nice kind of large visual header, okay, for our website title. Now let's make the colors look a little bit better. So what we can do is go over here and we can go into this assets folder and we can write some CSS code in here. Okay, so under where it says style sheets, you'll see this scaffolds.scss file. So double click that. And these were just generated when we ran that scaffold command. So this was auto generated for us. Let's highlight everything and then we'll just delete it all. Just like that, and then save your file. And then we'll write our own custom styles. And let's go ahead and write our own styles over here in this posts file. So I'm going to close this scaffolds file now that it's empty. And then let's double click the posts file here. And what we can do is change this background color. Let's make it stand out. Now, one way you can do it is use a CSS gradient generator. So if you open up a new tab, you can Google CSS gradient generator and you'll find a website. There's plenty of them out there. Okay, so there's one here called colorzilla.com/gradient editor. Okay, so I'm going to click on that one. And what I'm going to do is just kind of modify this gradient so that it looks a little bit different. So we can go over here and just kind of play around with this until we've got a unique looking gradient. Okay, so might move this over here like that. And then let's change the color around a little bit so I can click this and just go with a different feel altogether. Just go with something like that. And then I'm going to go with horizontal. And then I'm just going to copy all of this sample code right here that it gives me. So I've copied it. And then I'm going to go back over to our code. And what I'm going to do is target that entire header section. And we gave it a label right here called site header. So to target that in our CSS, we just go over here and we say dot and then site header. And then in the curly braces here, we just paste all of that stuff in. And then we need to tab this stuff inward just as a best practice. So highlight it all and hit your tab key. You can also hit Shift Tab to go backwards. Okay, so I'm going to save all of this. And now if we go back over here and refresh, there we go. We've got this gradient look. So it's just a little bit more unique, a little bit more spiced up. Now let's make this text here a different color. So I can right click in here and say inspect with Google Chrome. And I can actually test out what it would look like right on the fly without actually affecting this website by going over here where it says element style. And on the left side of that colon, I'll say color. And then if I hit my tab key on the right side, I'll say white. And there we go. If I hit X, that's the look I can go for. So that looks fine to me. So what I'm going to do is now apply that. So the way I can do that is go down here And I'll just create another rule. I'll say .site header. And then I'll say, you know what, any h1 element inside of there, so just space and then h1, and in curly braces we'll say make the color white. So make sure your syntax looks like that. Pause as needed. If you save this file now and then go over here and refresh, you should see the new look. Okay, so there we go. We've spiced up the look of our site a little bit. And one last thing we could do, we could go over here, and if you wanted to, optionally, you could go in here, right next to where it says container, and add another class name and just say text center, just like that. If you save your file and then go back over here and refresh, you'll have it centered up, which kind of looks nice as well. So I'll leave mine like this. Okay, so go ahead now and shut down your server. So Control C will shut down the server, and we'll move on from here.